Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Josh Snyder here with Next Gen Gaming. It was a fantastic weekend this past weekend. Of course, Star Wars Day. There was a ton of Star Wars Unlimited tournaments all over, but a very big one took place in Richmond, Virginia at SCG CON Richmond. We had a Star Wars Unlimited 4K, the May the 4K be with you. It was a great event. 129 players showed up, which, as it stands, is the second highest attendance for a Star Wars Unlimited tournament here in the United States. Again, it was a great event. We had a lot of fun. I was able to get video coverage of the feature table through the 8 rounds of Swiss and the top 16, and I will be getting those videos pumped out as quickly as I can over the next few weeks. For today, it's round 1. We've got Boba Yellow and Luke Green. Let's get right into the action. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Richmond, Virginia for the Star Wars Unlimited 4K here at SCG CON Richmond. We are set and ready to go for the first game in round 1. We've got Irving Diaz on the left playing Boba Yellow versus Philip Ritchie on the right playing Luke Green. Now, some of you may remember Philip. He just had a great run in Kissimmee, Florida just a couple weeks ago at the 5K, making it all the way to the top 4. And now he is here at the feature table looking to go on another great run here at the Star Wars Unlimited 4K at SCG CON Richmond. Irving will start us out with the initiative as we get round 1 underway. Both players just running the standard 30 HP bases, which will certainly come in use against the aggro that is plentiful in the field today. Sabine is the most represented leader in the field. So turn 1, it's going to be a crafty smuggler for Irving, and then Philip will follow up with R2-D2 on turn 1. Great play for Luke on turn 1, being able to give the R2-D2 shield early. R2-D2 so good at being able to essentially cycle through the deck, dig for very specific cards or specific answers. And to start us off on turn 2, Irving with the initiative will go 2 damage into Philip's base. Philip told us before the tournament started he's made some changes to the Luke deck after being so close to a win at the 5K just a couple weeks ago. Again, finished in the top 4. He ended up losing to the eventual winner of the tournament, Guy Cohen, on the Blue Vader deck. And Philip said he's made some changes, fine-tuned the deck a little bit, and is certainly looking to make another deep run in this tournament as well. So big play for Philip, wing leader coming down 2 counters onto R2-D2. R2-D2 a very real threat now. He is a 3-6. And after Irving puts down a 7th Fleet Defender in space, R2-D2 smacking Irving's base for 3. So that is a very scary R2-D2 on the board for Philip. Irving once again will retain the initiative. Both players have hit their curve so far, right? Crafty is a very common turn 1 play for Boba, and 7th Fleet Defender, great turn 2 play, but pretty strong plays on the other side of the board for Luke as well. So Irving is going to start us out with 2 damage to Philip's base, and then Philip says, I will raise you with 3 damage to the base with R2-D2. And Philip liked what he saw on top of the deck, keeping that top card right where it is from the R2-D2 trigger. And now Irving going in with 7th Fleet Defender, 3 more damage onto Philip's base. And now Philip will respond with an Echo Base Defender, which is another very good play on turn 3 for Luke Skywalker, because with that 1 remaining resource, Philip could put a shield on Echo Base Defender, which can be tough to get through on the ground. Now Irving playing Boba. Of course, having access to things like Waylay, and Waylay could certainly be a good card here. Let's see if he goes for Waylay to bounce the Echo Base Defender. Try to keep the shield off. No, he's gonna go with Bodhi Rook here. And we're gonna see Entrenched, Kanan Jarrus, and Fleet Lieutenant. Only one target there for Bodhi Rook, and that is Entrenched. So Philip will discard the Entrenched, but there is the shield onto the Echo Base Defender. And then Philip, 2 damage into base after Irving just claims the initiative. And while the damage total is very close right now, Philip does appear to be slightly ahead in the race. He now has the shielded Sentinel in the ground, which is going to at least require one action from Irving to deal with the Sentinel. I do believe he has Waylay in his hand, so that's still an option to Waylay the Echo Base Defender, but you have to figure out a way to stabilize the ground so that you can start applying pressure once again. And unfortunately, Bodhi Rook is just a sitting duck in this spot. Because either the Echo Base Defender or the R2-D2 can come across the board, defeat Bodhi Rook, and simply lose a shield token. So let's see how Irving starts it here. How does he want to try and manage the situation in the ground arena? One card that would be fantastic right now for Irving would be Cunning, but a little bit of an unconventional Boba Yellow list. Irving is not running any copies of Cunning, so Waylay is the only option to bounce. And there goes the Waylay. So Irving plays Waylay, bounces the Echo Base Defender, and then he uses Boba Fett and his ability to ready one of his resources. And then Philip going to take R2-D2 right into Bodhi Rook. Defeats Bodhi, just loses the shield, and R2 continues to go to work. He has done so much in this game. Philip's going to put that top card onto the bottom, but R2-D2, he's dealt 6 damage to base already. He's taken out Bodhi Rook, and he's still around to do more. Irving attacks and defeats the wing leader with 7th Fleet Defender, removing the shield on the 7th Fleet Defender. And then Philip will replay the Echo Base Defender once again, putting the Sentinel in the ground arena. Boba is out, but in quick response, the shield right back onto Echo Base Defender, and now Irving has to once again get through a shielded Echo Base Defender. He does have 2 units in the ground arena. And he will take Crafty Smuggler, attack into the Echo Base Defender. That will remove both of the shields. Philip has claimed the initiative. And then it's going to be Irving putting the Snapshot Reflexes onto Boba. Gives Boba Fett +1/+1. Allows him to attack immediately. And the Echo Base Defender has been defeated, but 4 damage back onto Boba Fett. With 4 remaining resources now, it is unfortunate that Irving is unable to use those remaining resources and has to pass the turn. Definitely could have been a big swinging turn there with all of the extra resources that Irving had, but unfortunately he just did not have any units to put out last turn with those resources. So start of the turn, big play from Philip. Fleet Lieutenant down into R2-D2, allows R2-D2 to defeat Boba Fett. And R2-D2 still on the board with 1 HP remaining. There is no doubt that if Philip wins this first game, R2-D2 has been the MVP by far. No question in my mind, R2-D2 has done so much work in this game. And then you see Irving went 3 damage into Philip's base with the 7th Fleet Defender, and immediately Luke Skywalker is deployed. And now the ground arena becomes even more scary for Irving, but an immediate response here on this turn to the Luke Skywalker. Asteroid Sanctuary coming down will exhaust Luke, and a shield token back onto the crafty smuggler. And now Philip will play Luke's lightsaber onto Luke Skywalker, giving Luke a shield token and +3 power, +1 HP. He is currently a 7-8 now. And Irving is going to trade shields once again. Crafty Smuggler attacking into Luke Skywalker. Both shields removed. And Philip will start the next turn with the initiative once again. This is certainly not a great spot for Irving to be in. He is staring down a huge Luke Skywalker, and Philip wasting no time, going to take Luke Skywalker into Irving's base right away for 7. And that is now 15 damage on Irving's base. How does he respond to the very real threats that Philip has presented in the ground arena? And unfortunately for Irving, there's only 2 real answers in his deck for Luke. And that would be the Asteroid Sanctuary, which we saw last turn, and then No Good to Me Dead. So it looks like Irving is just going to attack Philip's base for 2 with Crafty Smuggler. That's 12 damage on Philip's base now. And then once again, here comes R2-D2. Another 3 damage to Irving's base, and Philip once again likes the card he sees, keeping it on top. And at this point, R2-D2, he's just showing off. He's just been too good in this game. It's unreal the amount of value that Philip has got from the droid here in Game 1. 7th Fleet Defender will go across, 3 damage into Philip's base. Damage totals, 18 damage on Irving's base, 15 on Philip's base, and Philip will come across for 3 damage with Fleet Lieutenant. And that's now 21 damage on Irving's base. 9 away from ending Game 1. Both players have yet to use any resources this turn. And Irving's going to play No Good to Be Dead on Luke. That seems like a must in this situation. You cannot let Luke get in for another 7. And in response, Philip throwing down another Luke Skywalker. Oh, man. The onslaught in the ground arena continues. Irving was able to claim the initiative after Luke came down, but that is a huge play, taking out the 7th Fleet Defender in the process as Philip played the Luke Skywalker. And now, first action for Irving, he's going to play Change of Heart, and that's going to go grab Luke Skywalker unit. And let's see how Philip responds to that play. Some big plays back and forth here at the closing stages of Game 1. Here comes Home 1, and he's going to pull back the Echo Base Defender. Oh, that's a big play for Philip, and now Luke Skywalker will have to go into the Echo Base Defender, which is exactly what Irving will do. So it'll be 4 damage back onto Luke Skywalker. Echo Base Defender is defeated, and Irving does get to restore 3 off of that attack. And it looks like he does use the ability on the Boba Fett to ready a resource.
I'll go ahead and kill the Crafty, and I'll heal 1.
And then Philip will use the Fleet Lieutenant to take out Crafty Smuggler and restore 1 to his base because of Home 1. Home 1, such a great card, gives every unit you control restore 1. In this first game, Philip has just been able to stay what feels like 1 step ahead of Irving at every stage so far. So R2-D2, guess what? Another 3 damage from him. And that will end the phase. Luke Skywalker unit back over to Philip's side of the board. Irving with the initiative. But I don't know that there's anything he can play that would change the outcome here. More than fatal on board for Philip, and that will do it here in game 1. Irving will scoop it up, and Philip will take the 1-0 lead with Luke Green here in round 1 at SCG CON Richmond. And here we go for game 2 here in round 1 of the Star Wars Unlimited 4K at SCG CON Richmond. Irving Diaz versus Philip Ritchie. Philip a 1-0 lead going into game 2. R2-D2 absolutely the star of the show in game 1. Philip was able to play the early wing leader in game 1, giving R2-D2 the 2 experience tokens, and R2 just dealt so much damage throughout the game and was able to make very favorable trades with the experience tokens and shields, and really helped carry Philip to victory. Here in game 2, we've got Irving starting with the initiative. We see the Outer Rim Headhunter coming out. A great turn 1 for Philip with the Alliance Dispatcher, and Luke shielding the Dispatcher. The Alliance Dispatcher has to be one of, if not the favorite turn 1 play for Luke. Being able to shield the Dispatcher and then ramp into your larger units. Very effective. Irving still with the initiative here in the second turn of the game. And Asteroid Sanctuary coming down onto the Alliance Dispatcher. Irving possibly trying to dodge a turn 2 Kanan. And Philip will respond with a resupply. He will ramp up to 4 resources, and then Irving will play Snapshot Reflexes onto the Outer Rim Headhunter, giving it +1/+1 and attacking with it. So 3 damage onto Philip's base here on turn 2. So the initiative moving over to Philip pretty early this time around. I think Irving held the initiative for several turns in the first game before giving it up. And I'm sure Irving not thrilled with this start, considering he was unable to put a lot of extra pressure on last turn. Still just the Outer Rim Headhunter. So Philip with the initiative starting us out uses the Alliance Dispatcher to play Bright Hope for 1 less. So Bright Hope coming down for just 3 resources. And that will allow Philip to return the Alliance Dispatcher to hand, draw him a card. And he still has 2 available resources. With Bright Hope out now, threatening to have a shield as well. And Bright Hope could be a real problem for Irving as he's trying to be aggressive in space. The Alliance Dispatcher back down onto the board. And Irving continuing to put pressure in space with the 7th Fleet Defender, but there's the all-important shield given to Bright Hope from Luke Skywalker. So Bright Hope does have 4 damage, but now with the shield, it's going to be tough for Irving to get through the Bright Hope. He'll have to use at least 2 attacks unless he bounces it back to Philip's hand. But that doesn't really seem like an amazing play, because then he could just bounce the Dispatcher back and draw another card. So Irving opts to run the 7th Fleet Defender into Bright Hope right away, removing the shields from both units. And Philip will deploy Luke Skywalker. Now things become very interesting in the ground arena. It will be very tough for Irving to get control of the ground arena with Luke Skywalker in play. And Irving's just going to open the space arena back up. Outer Rim Headhunter attacking into the Bright Hope to defeat Bright Hope, as Irving is probably well aware that his route to victory is going to have to go through space. Action over to Philip. All 6 resources available for Philip. And he's going to start by paying 2 to play Devotion. That's going to give Luke Skywalker +1/+1 and restore 2. And Irving just claims the initiative. No cards to play. He chooses not to deploy Boba. Another Devotion down onto Luke Skywalker. And Philip uses Alliance Dispatcher to play Wing Leader for 2, giving Luke 2 experience tokens, and he's up to 8 power now. A huge turn for Philip. Luke will attack Irving's base for 8. A shield token onto the Wing Leader. And Philip will restore 4. Back down to 0 damage on base. What a big turn for Philip. The race in space just became a lot less likely for Irving, because restore 4 on Luke is disgusting. Irving will start the turn by attacking Philip's base with the 7th Fleet Defender, seeing that the Wing Leader can just easily remove that defender. So 3 to base for Philip, and then here comes Luke Skywalker again across the board for 8 into Irving's base. That's 16 damage on with just 2 attacks. The Alliance Dispatcher will get the shield this time, and Irving now attacking into Philip's base again with Outer Rim Headhunter, 4 damage on. But again, Philip able to restore 4 each turn right now with Luke Skywalker, which is just completely mitigating any damage that Irving is able to do. So to make matters worse, now a Kanan Jarrus down into the ground arena for Philip. Irving responds with another space unit, Fett's Fire Spray. And Philip just continuing to flood the ground arena. Echo-based Defender coming into play as well. And now Irving will take the opportunity to deploy Boba Fett. The Wing Leader does take out the 7th Fleet Defender and had a shield, so he'll stick around for another day. And Irving will take the Fett's Fire Spray into Philip's base. That's 9 damage on now. And then Philip just claims the initiative, and that will leave the door open for Irving to take out the Echo-based Defender with Boba Fett. But then he will pass the turn there. And this is still just not a good spot for Irving. Irving is showing 9 total damage in space between the Outer Rim Headhunter and Fett's Fire Spray. But you've got Philip healing 4 damage a turn here because of those 2 devotion. And right out of the gate, Luke Skywalker across the board for 8 again. That's 24 damage onto Irving's base with just 3 attacks from Luke Skywalker. Irving will try and mitigate some of the damage coming through this turn. He plays Asteroid Sanctuary, exhausting the Kanan Jarrus. And then Philip responds with a huge change of heart that came out of the sideboard as he takes control of Fett's Fire Spray for the remainder of the phase. And with the ready Fett's Fire Spray on Philip's side of the board, he has enough damage showing currently to finish this game and take down his first round match. Does Irving have any response to the damage on board? Can he answer the Fett's Fire Spray? Irving will attack the Wing Leader without a Rim Headhunter, defeating Wing Leader. But Philip coming across with Fett's Fire Spray, 5 damage to Irving's base, and that is going to do it. Philip is victorious here in round 1 as Luke Green takes down Boba Yellow, the Jedi proving to be too much for the Bounty Hunter, and Philip will carry momentum into round 2. Well, that is going to conclude our coverage here in round 1 of the Star Wars Unlimited 4K at SCG CON Richmond. Thank you guys for joining me here today. Hope you enjoyed this coverage, and we'll see you back real soon for round 2. May the Force be with you, and until next time, take care.